Hello everybody. Today we are working on the not so stationary seafloor. You might be like, what? The seafloor is stationary. Or some of you might be like, oh yes, Miss Morodic, we have started to learn about this and we know that there's some things going on with these plate tectonics. Regardless, we're going to get started here. First thing, please put your name at the top. My name's Miss Morodic. Please put your actual name and then the due date and the hour that you have science class. Now, what we're continuing to work on is we want to be able to summarize the cycling of Earth's materials through plate tectonics and then therefore how are conditions on Earth changing over time. So based on where the continents are, how is that changing the conditions as in the climate or the weather patterns on Earth over time. So we need some colors. We need this assignment. So let's get started. First thing, pre-lab questions. Go through and answer these. Pause the video for a second. Well, don't give me a minute. Don't actually time it. Just, you know what I mean. So pre-lab questions. Define mid-ocean ridge. Define seafloor spreading. This was in our chapter 7, lesson 3. And then this number 3 is completely up to you. You need to come up with your hypothesis. Where do you think the youngest and oldest seafloor is located and why? So it should be like, I think the oldest, oldest, I know, we got to use a little whiteout. It happens. Oldest seafloor is where and why. I think the youngest seafloor is blank and why. And when you're saying this, we're talking about, is it closer to the continents? Is it in the middle of the ocean? Is it not necessarily related to either of those items? Pause the video and go ahead and answer these. Okay, but did you actually pause the video and answer these? Okay, at this point, I'm assuming you have because I'm going to expect that you're a good person. You went through and you gave this a chance. That's all I'm asking. So with this, our mid-ocean ridges, those are those mountain ranges that we have that are forming in the middle of the ocean. I know, it's a long chain of mountains that are in the middle of the ocean. Fun fact, we had a trivia night. I was on Mrs. Carpolini's team. I'm kind of a bench warmer, but I was thrown in and I was called into duty because there was space. And on that night, they had a question of what is the longest mountain chains in the world. Most people put, I think it was the Himalayas, but us being science teachers and we had just taught this unit, we're like, it is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge because it is a mid-ocean ridge. We got the points. I know, you're so proud of us. Okay, next one, seafloor spreading. This is where we have the seafloor spreading apart as there's just a little bit of magma that is pushing up between those tectonic plates and pushing them apart. Now remember, this isn't happening very quickly. It's happening a few centimeters a year, which is about the width of an average textbook. It's not much, right? I mean, if you're thinking about a textbook, here's my history textbook, super easy access. My history textbook is not all that thick, right? And to think about this as far as the plates are moving that far away, that's kind of okay, big whoop. But now let's imagine you guys are 13 and 14 years old. Now stack 13, 14 of these. In fact, if I look across from me, look, I've got some books there. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and kind of that middle one, right? That's starting to get over a foot. You guys are 13, 14 years old. Miss Morodic here, I'm 28. I got 28 books, right? This is going to get to be a pretty wide space, which over the space of a mountain, is it really still much? Or over the ocean? Not really. But if we start talking about the idea of, the world having been here for multiple millions of years, And now that width of a textbook starts to seem like quite a bit. And it's just happening. That magma, I mean, these are giant plates. There's over Earth's surface, and they are just slowly, this magma is just barely seeping up through the cracks at the mid-ocean ridge and just barely getting these to push apart. It's just a few centimeters, right? And then this number 3, you gave that your best idea already. So, introduction. Imagine you are an ocean explorer gathering information on the ages of the seafloor in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. You and your fellow scientists take the drill ship Resolution to many locations in the oceans and collect rock samples from each sample location on the map lettered A through double G. The ages of each sample are determined in the lab and are listed on the worksheet next to the letter of the rock sample. Now you must color the map based on the ages of the rock samples to see the distribution of seafloor ages. So we need to color the continents and the oceans on each map. See the list on the page here. That's what's going to take us the longest to do. So yes, if you would like to separate these, you are more than welcome to do that. We're going to start with this. So our first one, these are rocks that are 0 to 10 million years old. And these ones are going to be red. I will tell you, every year I have a few students that are like, Miss Muradic, I don't quite have every single one, like a dark blue versus a lighter blue. You could shade one darker versus one a little bit lighter, or if you've got a color like an indigo, that's fine. Or if you don't have a red but you have a pink, okay, pink would be lovely. Okay, so we need to look for any of our rocks that are 0 to 10 million years old, and we're also going to fill in this little kind of key here. And any of them that are 0 to 10. So 0 to 10, that's 5, 7, 2, 4, 5, 8. And I will give you the creative freedom here. This one is exactly 10 million years old. If you really want to color it orange, go for it. That's our next color. If you want to color it red, that's okay. It's right on the cusp. So either or would be an okay color. The next one is we're looking for any of them that are 10 to 40 million years old. And we're going to color these ones in orange. So we'll color our little key up the middle here. And then any of them, oops, and I see, you probably already saw it, guys, that I missed a 6 million year here. Okay, so we need our 0 or 10 to 40. So that's 10 to 40, 10 to 40, 10 to 40, 10 to 40, 10. Okay, yep, that's where I think I'm going to end. Okay, our next one is yellow. So I'm going to grab my yellow. Color in that middle piece. And then yellow is anything 40 to 70. 40 to 70. And that's where I'll end there. Next one, green, is my next one here. So that's going to be 70 to 100. So 70 to 100. 70 and 104 I'll end at. Okay, my next one is a light blue. And color in. So these are going to be 100 to 120. Okay, that's it. I need a darker blue. Now, I will tell you guys, I don't have a darker blue. My pack only has 8 colors, and you've just seen almost all of them. You could use, I'm going to use maybe a darker, I'm going to have like a black crayon that I can color really lightly with. I've got a blue marker I could use. You may need to get a little bit creative. I'm going to go I think I'm going to go real light dark here. So that's going to be anything that's 120 to 150. 120 to 150. And then our last one is purple. That keeps a pretty good gradient there. Okay, and that's just that one. The next thing is we do need to label the continents. So let's label these guys. We have Africa. And then the Atlantic Ocean is going to be here. And over here, we have like a teeny bit, but we're not really seeing much of the Atlantic Ocean. It's mostly just on that one. Europe. We have Europe. And not really Europe over here. North America. We have 2 places for North America. We've got North America here. And over here. And I can help find that by looking for the little peninsula of Florida there. So there's that. South America is going to be below North America. And then I've got the Pacific Ocean. I've got to label that in 2 places. So this right here is the Pacific Ocean. And if I'm off a little bit, there we go. And then over here, this is also the Pacific Ocean. So you'll see there's a few places we need to color on both sides. We've got Asia. Asia is going to be right here. And then Australia is right over here. So then as we go ahead and we need to start coloring, we just need to match up each color area with the correct one. So our first one is the letter A. So when we look for the letter A, I see it right here. And I will color that in. And if I have it over here, note there's a few that are over here as well. So we're going to color that one in. And you will notice like up over here, there's a tiny little bit that kind of comes up. So you can go ahead and just color that little extra in as well. And if you do have a little chunk and you're like, which section does it go with? Just color the ones that are next to it. And what it's trying to make is a little bit of a gradient here. So then you can kind of figure out which color would go there. So A and then letter B. We need to look for letter B. Let's see, oh, B is over here. And this is what's going to probably take some of the longer time today to finish up. And then we've just got that. So there's B, letter C. I know there's some letter C over here. Which means we probably also, yep, we got some C over here. And then letter D was over here. Okay, I'm not going to color in this whole thing and make you watch me color in this whole thing. That's half the surprise for you guys. But then you're going to keep going. So let's see. We'll do letter, say, I is 25. So here's I. And is I, nope, I's not over there. Like if I say pick, letter T is going to be yellow. So letter T is over here. We'll do a green one here. Letter double A is green. Our letter double B is blue. There's double B. And then we have the ones that I had to end up using my black. So I've got a double E, and that's over here. So I'm just going to color that. I said I was going to color mine really lightly. And then the double G is way over here. So you can kind of start to see a little bit of it. You're going to need to completely fill this in like 100% color. So once you've got that then, you You need to answer these questions. So, in which ocean and in which direction is literally the oldest seafloor? So, that is going to be the oldest, the highest number. That's going to be our purple. So, where is it and in which direction? Where is the youngest seafloor? So, where do we see some of the youngest seafloor? Oh, and this is in the Atlantic Ocean. What do you notice about the age pattern on the seafloor in the Atlantic Ocean? Hint, look on each side of the middle. Include the words younger and older. So, you're going to notice there might be something happening. Start at the middle and then look as you go towards the continents. You're going to need to finish the colors to be able to see that. Africa and South America used to be joined together in Pangaea, but are now separated by the Atlantic Ocean. Something must be happening between these continents to create new seafloor. Notice how the oldest crust is on the outside edges and the youngest crust is in the middle of the seafloor. How do you think this forms? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. We talked about this before class even started. We talked about a certain book. Rewind the video. Go back if you need. Now look at the Pacific Ocean seafloor ages. Where in the Pacific do you notice the same type of pattern as the Atlantic? So is it in the north, south, east, west, or in about the middle? What is it called when older crust dies down at the continental edges? You're going to need to look. It's in our Chapter 7, Lesson 3 notes. Okay. It starts with an S to get you on the right track here. It starts with an S. Explain why the Western Pacific seafloor rock is so much older than the Pacific seafloor rock. So what is happening? Why would we have such old rock way over here? Like, what was happening? Where were the continents first joined? Like, what parts of continents were first joined to begin with? And then when you're all done, make sure you take pictures, turn this into your Google Classroom, follow any directions on there as needed. And then there's some cute little well, looking back, I suppose it's been going on for quite some time, but I only noticed we were drifting apart during the last 50 million years. You get the joke? Ha, ha, ha. South America and Africa drift. I know, you're rolling your eyes. Two tectonic plates bump into each other. One says, not my fault. Because what does that mean when they bump in? It's called a fault. Geologist at a lunch. I'd like the tectonic plate. Very good. That will take a while to get here, sir. Because how long does it take for tectonic plates to move? I know, you think they're hilarious, and if you've rolled your eyes at least once, make sure they didn't fall out of your head. Pick them up off the floor. Regardless, please let your science teacher know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a bit of fun coloring and have a great day. Bye, guys.